Happy Saturday, guys. This is Eric Abbey coming to you live, noon Central Standard Time on the Just One Dime YouTube channel. I want to say hello, and I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I want to cut right to it. We're talking arbitrage during this hour, and we want to field your questions, do the best that I can to give answers, and I want to talk about the success that you can have in 2020 doing arbitrage on Amazon. Welcome to the Just One Dime channel. I'm not Seth Kniep. He's allowed me to do this program on Saturdays at noon. Again, my name's Eric Abbey. I coach for the brand new Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. I guess it's not brand new. We've been going for probably 6 or 7 months now, but it's new to Just One Dime, and we are excited about arbitrage and the money that you can make doing arbitrage on Amazon. It's simple. It's not rocket science, and I've been able to find good success. I've sold for a little over 5 years doing arbitrage on Amazon, and it's been fun. It's been a learning process, and I've gotten to where I am today with slow and steady work. And there's a few principles that have helped me. One is I just determined to work hard and work consistently, and I tried to have a long-term vision for how I could actually build something that would give me margin that could sustain some freedom in my budget, not just a quick flip or some sort of scheme that could make me some money in the short term, but something that would allow a real established long-term business. Probably the second thing I would say that I did that was really helpful is I joined the Just One Dime membership, and I began to learn from the coaches in their program and other sellers who were a part of the community a lot of things that I had never known before. And so I was limited in that I was kind of doing the Lone Ranger arbitrage thing, and I was making my way and doing well, but the input from others in the community and the coaching and learning all kinds of things that I had never touched on before really helped me in significant ways to move my business forward, to take it to the next level, and really to start achieving my goals a lot more quickly. And the third thing I would say, the third principle that really helped me move forward was to learn to gain confidence in data-driven decisions. In other words, Amazon gives you all kinds of numbers so that you know what kinds of items are going to sell, the prices they're going to sell for, how rapidly they'll sell. And when you make data-driven decisions, when you let those numbers guide your buying decisions, you can have a high level of confidence that you're going to sell and be successful and make money while you're doing it. And I just want to be a testimony to that. I haven't done anything fancy. I don't have a degree in business. I'm not exceptional in a lot of ways. I'm just 5'9". I'm a little overweight. I don't look at anything fancy. I don't have special education. I just am an everyday guy that's learned to put one foot in front of the other and to work hard. And I want to show you the numbers that I've been able to generate. Today's January 11th. I took a snapshot of my sales this morning. When I found out I was going to be the only person on the program, I said, well, I'll just show my numbers and I'll capture them as they are real time. And so I took a snapshot from January 1st of this year to early this morning, which really captures January 1st through January 10th. And I just want to give you a look at what those sales have looked like. This is what's possible for you doing arbitrage on Amazon. This is strictly arbitrage numbers. And as you can see, this snapshot was taken early this morning, and it shows the trend of my sales starting back here in the first and moving this way. So this is the number of units that I sold. This is the product sales numbers. So I went from, around $1,400 on the first up to $2,000, a little over $2,000 here. Had a good day on the 8th, pushed $2,500 in sales that day, so that I cleared over $18,000 in those first days of January. And again, this isn't bragging. It really isn't, because I didn't do anything special. I found a number of products in a low price context, in a discount context, and then I take advantage of Amazon.com, and I sell on the online marketplace where the prices are higher. So if I can go into Home Depot or Lowe's, I was just at Lowe's this morning looking at the clearance section, and if I can buy an item there at say $5 and I can sell it on Amazon for 15 or 20, I'm in really good shape to make margin and to sell that item at a profit. And if I do that over and over and over again, so that I'm selling these kinds of numbers of units, then it's going to mean margin in my budget. And it's been so fun to be able to do this. One thing I've worked hard on lately is getting this average price per item up. So it's over $40, and I'm excited about that because it used to be right around 20. And so if I'm selling, what's it say here? Units ordered 491. If I'm selling 491 units, but only at kind of $20 a pop, then my numbers are going to be half of what they are. Now, this 18,000 is retail sales, so don't get too excited and think that that all went in my pocket. But I can say that I work really hard at having 100% ROI. I think it's very possible. So about a third of this is profit that I'm making for my business, and I can then, gain financial freedom taking advantage of. Another third of this is cost of goods purchased. So I had to invest a third of this amount into buying product. And then the other third, and again, these are generalities, but in general, the final third went to Amazon because I take advantage of Amazon FBA. That's what enables me to scale. And on the average, you're looking at about 1/3 of your retail sales price going to Amazon for Amazon fees. So Amazon's doing well. They're making money. They're happy. And honestly, I'm happy because Amazon FBA is what has enabled me to scale my business. These 491 items that we just looked at, I didn't do anything to individually pack and ship and deal with those items. Amazon did all of that, and they're taking care of all the customer service. They're taking care of returns. That's their work that they're doing. And so I'm happy, really, to pay them those fees because their FBA system is what's enabling me to do my business and to do it well and to scale that business and to not have the business take over my life. So, and I see Ryan said I'm forgetting taxes. Sure, I got to pay taxes on this, so that's fair. I have to pay Uncle Sam his portion. Unfortunately, his pockets need to be filled too, evidently. So that's right. And there's expenses in there. I mean, I can't fine tune all of it, but I'm just trying to show you that you can make real money to put real margin in your business. And what's fun is I'm standing in a very real house. My video room is in the basement of the house that I was able to purchase because I was able to work at Arbitrage. Now, it took a number of years. Again, this wasn't a get-rich-quick scheme. We don't advocate that. But I just plodded along and I worked hard. And the membership was helpful. So if you want to add margin to your budget, if you want to take your business to the next level, click the link below in the description. Take a look at the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership, and I'm promising you it's well worth your investment. You'll get that money back and then some because we go in great length and in great detail to teach you how to understand the numbers, make confident purchases that you know are going to sell. You know that you're going to sell quickly. The BSR is an indicator for that. And you know you're going to make money. You're looking at your margin. You're looking on what your return on investment would be. And you're not just whimsically buying things that you hope might sell or you think might sell or you like it and you think, well, maybe I'd buy it. You're actually letting the numbers educate you and inform you as to how to make decisions and how to run your business. You're running your business with confidence, and that's what's really exciting about it. So I want you to be thinking about, what your goals are. I've seen people indicate things that, let's see, Desjardins Rock said that he wants to reach his goals, and I'm curious to know what those are. There are a lot of things that you can do when you have freedom in your budget. For me, the first thing was to pay off my debt. And when I did that, it felt like this huge burden was off my shoulders because now any money that I was able to save was it redoubled my ability to save and to gain margin in my budget. Not only was my business expanding a little bit, but once I got rid of debt, it just gave me all the more room to double down on saving, in my case, for a down payment on a house. Now, I get pushback often saying that items can't be found. Arbitrage is dead. You can't find stuff. And I'm here to say that you can. I have been able to successfully find items on Amazon. I just want to show you a couple, and I'll get to your questions. Keep those questions coming. But the first item that I found recently is this calculator. Teach 2 is what it's called. I've never heard of that before, but it's kind of a kid's calculator. Plays music, lights up, does sort of fun things. It's a little more than just your average calculator, I guess. And I just want to show you the listing for this. I found this. You can probably see the price tag still on there, $5. So I got that for $5. I bought a handful of these. And let me share my screen and show you the listing of this item. So here's the calculator, Kids Delight Tech 2 bilingual calculator. I made sure that this item matched the listing, and so I can read right on here. It's a bilingual calculator. It's one of the things that they're advertising. Tech 2 is right there in the title. Everything matches. It's a perfect match. So I'm confident that this item listing is an accurate representation of the actual item that I purchased. And now I'm just working to analyze this product. And this has a fairly high rank. So this is just an opportunity for me to show you that you can push boundaries a little bit, because I went back and forth on this for a little bit in my mind, thinking whether or not it would be worth purchasing. And you can notice here, I have RevSeller embedded in my Chrome extension. It gives me all this information, but this has a BSR of 248,000, which is in the top 4%. And typically we recommend that you stay under 2%, but I went for this because the competition is very low. There's not a lot of sellers on this listing, and the margin is significant. So if I put in $5 here, RevSeller calculates for me and shows me that my ROI is 142%. So there's a couple things that I think about when I consider a sales rank like this. One, the sales rank is an indication of what the precedent is for this selling. So maybe one of the reasons that it's not selling super well is the price is a little bit high. So part of my thinking is, if I lower this price a little bit, I could lower to $17.95, and maybe that would increase my sales a little bit. I'm still over 100% ROI. So I know there's some room in my budget to manipulate the price a little bit. And in addition to that, if I take even this high BSR, and part of why I'm willing to work a little bit with this high BSR is I'm in the toys and games category, which I like. Take advantage of this website, FBA Toolkit. This is a website that anybody can use, and what I'm about to do is just a part of its free service. So if you scroll down, you can find specific categories, and if you enter in the bestseller rank here, so I just copied and pasted the 248, 217 into here. It's going to tell me an estimate of how many sales per day that this item makes. So it's saying that on the average, Amazon is selling one every 4 days. And I bought 5 of these calculators. And so if I'm the only seller on the listing, I can expect that I'll sell those 5 calculators in 20 days. And I'm fine with that. If I sell in less than a month, that's great. Now, if I have one other seller that I'm competing with, then it'll take me, on the average, 40 days to sell those 5. And honestly, I'm fine with that too. If I can move my inventory in within a couple months, I'm thrilled. I'm expecting that there's going to be some rollover. It's going to take some time. I'm not expecting I'm going to sell all my items instantly, although obviously the better the BSR is, the more likely you're going to be to sell quickly, and selling quickly is helpful. Less storage fees, less hassle, far less risk. But I looked at this item and I said, this is a pretty good item. Now I'll show you one more, and feel free to ask me questions about this in just a minute. I'm going to get to those questions, and I'll do the best I can to give you some answers, and we can just wrestle through even vision and goals and obstacles that you're facing. But let me show you this little fella. I don't know about you, but my wife is a huge fan of these traditional Christmas shows, and this here is the Bumble. And this is a cute little stuffed animal, a plush toy that I just recently picked up for $3.99. That's what I got this Bumble for. And let me show you this listing. This will be one more example I give of the kind of items that are available to you through Arbitrage. So here's the Bumble, the abominable snow monster stuffed animal plush toy. Now look at this BSR. Fantastic BSR, 32,000, again in toys and games. And it's currently selling for over $20. And if I acquired it for $3.99, I mean, 274% ROI. I'm pretty excited about that. Now, I know part of why the BSR is low is maybe this was a hot seller recently. People are watching the shows for Christmas a month ago, and they get excited about that. And this is something that might sell, a little bit hotter as Christmas approaches, but I'm not too worried about that with a sales rank that low. What you can also see here is that there's a 90-day average that's right in the vicinity. And I am amazed over and over again. I'm amazed at how often I sell Christmas-related items all throughout the whole year. And so I bought, how many of these did I buy? I bought 3 of these. It's all they had. I would have bought more, but I bought 3 of these, and I have no doubt that these will sell really fast, and they're going to make me great money. So all I have to do is take the price tag off this thing. It's hard to see, but there's a little sticker on here that I want to take off, and then I'll put this guy in a poly bag, put an FN SKU on his backside, and he'll be ready to ship off to Amazon FBA and make me some money, add some room to my margin. So I'm going to take a look at the questions. Bear with me as I kind of scroll through those. I want you guys to do your best to ask me honest questions. I'm going to do my best to give you honest answers. On one hand, I'm absolutely convinced that doing arbitrage on Amazon is a great way to begin adding margin to your budget. It's a great way to build a business. My business is so flexible. I can tuck it into all the corners of my schedule. I've really been able to work so that my business serves me and doesn't take me away from my family, but empowers me to have time with my family, empowers me to do the Christian ministry that I enjoy doing and I'm convicted I want to be doing as much as I possibly can. And the business is something that I can do from a remote location, so I can travel. In fact, next week, I'm really excited. My wife and I are celebrating our 10th anniversary, and we are headed to the Bahamas. So I live in northern Vermont, and it can get cold here. And so in January and February, somewhere in there, it's nice if you can escape for a little bit. And I'm taking my wife without the children, which is great. Thank you, Grandma and Grandpa. I'm taking my wife to the Bahamas, and we're going to spend Monday through Friday there. And I'm really excited about that. We're going to celebrate our 10th anniversary. We're going to think through what are our goals and our hopes and our dreams for the next 10 years, and just make sure that we're well connected and on the same page and enjoy some sun and some sand. And I'm excited about that. So the margin I have in my budget enables me to do that. It gives me the freedom to make a purchase like that. But the cool thing is that while we're there, and I don't want to do this too much, but while we're there, I can log on to my Amazon Seller Central account. I can manage my business, and sales will be continuing right along, even while I'm on the beaches in the Bahamas. So I'm really excited about that. Let me get to your questions. Desjardins, I don't know if you've put it in yet, but I'd love to know what your financial goal is for 2020, what you're thinking about, you'd like to learn, or what you're thinking about wanting to attain for your goals, because that can be really motivating. I knew I wanted a house. I could picture my children playing in the backyard of our own house. And I could picture myself doing yard work on my own property. All that stuff was very exciting and stimulating, and it helped me to stay the course and to overcome obstacles and to persevere. And it was really fun to have that goal actualized and then to write out another one. So be thinking about your vision and your goals. Aaron, welcome. Be ambitious, not content. Nice tagline. Welcome, Realist. Stephen, Nina, I see all you guys, and I'm hoping to get to your questions. Hello. Tips to get the buy box from Ryan. The buy box, the easiest way to get the buy box is to have a competitive price. So there are a lot of variables that go into getting the buy box, but none are more important than the price. So if you have a competitive price, you will win the buy box, and it's randomized. So if all things are equal and you and I are both selling the same item on the same listing, which happens all the time in arbitrage, and it's fine. Nothing illegal is happening. You're not hijacking a listing. If you're selling an authentic product, like I made sure this was, that matches the listing in detail, then you're fine. And so often you'll see it all over Amazon. There's multiple sellers, and they're all competing for the buy box. And so when you go to purchase a product and you see that add to cart button, only one seller is in that screen, which is called the buy box. And so if the customer clicks on add to cart, whoever that seller is going to make the sale. And so that's why Ryan's asking, how can you win the buy box? Because if you're not winning the buy box, you're not going to be making sales. And the best way you can compete for the buy box is to have a competitive price. What I always recommend is to match the lowest FBA price, which leads me to my second thing. The best way that you can compete to win the buy box is to be selling through FBA. So FBM is fulfilled by merchant. That's where you keep all the things in your garage. Every time you make a sale, you have to put the item in a bag or a box, print a label, and ship it yourself. If you take advantage of FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon, you bulk ship all of your items in one massive shipment to an Amazon distribution center or a warehouse, and then they store it for you. And every time you make a sale, Amazon picks it off the shelf, packs it, ships it, does customer returns and all of that. And Amazon gives priority to FBA sellers because they automatically meet a lot of the metrics at 100%. So the best way that you can win the buy box is to be selling FBA and to have matched the lowest FBA price. I never recommend undercutting competition. If you try to go a penny or two below, they're going to lower their price. And now if two people are doing that, penny under, you just lower the price. It hurts every Amazon seller every time. And so it really frustrates me when sellers do that. So we're encouraging you to match the lowest FBA price or even go a penny above the lowest FBA price. If the price difference is that big, it's not going to really make a difference in who's winning the buy box. And if all things are equal, both of those sellers are going to be sharing the buy box because it's randomized. So sell FBA and have a competitive price. One of the cool things about selling FBA is if you go to a listing and you see that the buy box price is sold by an FBM seller and they're selling for $19.95, you can come in as an FBA seller and sell for $20.95, $21.45, and you're gonna, even at a higher price, you're gonna win the buy box over and against an FBM seller the majority of the time. Now, in addition to that, there's some other variables like your account health, seller feedback, so how many stars your rating is, maybe the quantity that you have. Those things will play into as factors for whether or not you win the buy box, but those are not nearly as important as the other things that I mentioned at the beginning. Stephen asks, are you reviewing websites? I'm going to try to answer that, Stephen, and if I don't get it right, just ask a follow-up question down below. But if I'm doing online arbitrage, I'm looking at websites all the time to try to find products. So just like if I go into Lowe's, I'm going to go to the clearance section or the clearance end caps to try to find discounted products. If I go to a website, I'm going to go to the clearance section of that website or the sale portion of that website, and I'm going to compare items that are a part of that website with items that are on Amazon.com. And so I'm reviewing websites to try to find products that I can purchase from online arbitrage and sell at a profit. And so I'm reviewing all manner of websites to find online arbitrage deals, and then I'm reviewing various listings within Amazon.com. So if you're asking something different, then you'll have to follow up with me. But that's the basics of how I do online arbitrage, and that's when I'm reviewing websites. That's the primary reason I would be doing online arbitrage stuff. What other questions we got? Aaron, how much of that was your big shoe buy? Did you sell that already? So Aaron's referring to, I guess it was just last week, I think. That maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I can't remember the timing now. I think it was just last week. I bought a whole bunch of shoes, and he's asking if some of what I saw were those shoes. Some of it was, but I think most of those went live 2 or 3 days ago. And they've been doing well. I've sold some of those, but it certainly doesn't account for a large percentage of that, but it's a part of it. That was a good find. And, I think that'll play in. We'll see in the next week or two. I think I'm going to have a lot of sales from that shoe haul. So yeah, the last couple of days, Aaron, some of those shoes have been selling. They've been doing good. I'm continue to be excited about that find. That was a going out of business sale. And so be aware of those. One great thing you can do with arbitrage is to keep an eye on going out of business sales and jump on them. And sometimes I've traveled an hour or two to get to one because I'm convinced it's going to be worth it. And in this instance, the store is still there, and I'm going to keep an eye on it week by week and see if they lower their prices more, or if they bring in, sometimes stores like that bring in more stock from somewhere because they're trying to move they have a storage facility that they're having to empty as well or something. So I'm going to keep tabs on that location and see if I can't score another haul as a follow-up. Salima, whoops, I lost your question. Do you have a minimum dollar amount for profits that you aim for? Yeah, I want to make at least $5 to $7 in profit per item. And I want to be selling products that are over $10 or $12 retail value. So I don't really want to traffic in items that are selling for $6, $7, $8, $9 because the percentage of Amazon FBA fees are going to be high. And the same amount of time and energy goes into purchasing and preparing and then managing products that sell for a $5 profit as the time that goes into managing products that make a $55 profit. So yeah, I have a baseline. I would probably say $7 in profit and $12 in retail sales is really what I want my baseline to be. The only exceptions I've made to that are when I have opportunities, when I have opportunities to buy bulk items. So even just recently this week, I bought a bulk purchase from somebody here locally. They just had a lot of Christmas overstock that they wanted to sell me, and I bought probably around 500 items, and it was just kind of a flat rate, like $1 or $2 an item, depending on what part of the bulk purchase it was. And so then, as I work through, I didn't go individually through all those items. So as I work through those items, there certainly will be some that are under $10. And I just do that because I know in and among that bulk, there's going to be a lot of products that are higher. And if I'm only buying the product for $1 or $2, I'm going to make money on each one. So there are exceptions when I make a bulk purchase for a small amount that I just work the territory, prepare all the items. I know I'm going to make good money on that purchase. And so I don't worry about it. Silencer, welcome. Kyle, I see you on here. Oriole, Ivy Wall, Quentin Lewis. I'm making my way through these as best I can. And I find when I'm doing these by myself, my voice goes, my throat makes it harder. So bear with me. How do you manage returns? Do you set up Amazon to send all returns to your house? Please advise. Amazon will inspect items, and I kind of like that they do that. We don't necessarily recommend that you have that. I'll just tell you what I do. I have Amazon inspect my returns and put them back into my managed inventory because I just don't want to hassle with them as much. And there are times when they determine that something is resellable, and maybe it isn't. And I found that the same kind of item might get returned once or twice, and that's the problem with that. And if I see that, I manage my inventory pretty closely. And if I see that the same item's getting returned a couple times, then I'll pull it and inspect it myself. But I just have my own system set up at home for anything that Amazon sends back to me, which a lot of returns do. In fact, they'll mark returns unsellable, and I'll have them brought back to me, and I look at them and they look fine, and I send them back in. So I just have a part in my workshop. I have tables set up, and I have an active prep area, and then I have another area where I manage my returns. And so I just bring them in and I inspect those returns, and I take any of the returns that appear to be resellable to me for Amazon. They're still mint, and customers aren't going to have a problem with them. And I just recycle them back into the prep system and send them back into Amazon FBA. Any returns that are an open box or tags were removed or something like that, then I use eBay to try to sell those. So I create listings for those returns on eBay, and I have a corner in my garage with shelving units, and I just file those into the shelving units, and then I sell some stuff. So I count those returns mentally. I decide that those returns are a loss, and I try to fight anxiety and anger by just saying this is a built-in loss that my business is fine absorbing, and so I'm not expecting to get any return, any money, further money from these returns. Now, if I can sell some through eBay, or I've sold stuff on Craigslist, every summer I have a huge yard sale. That's all just gravy. That's extra cash that I just push into the business. But I count those as a loss mentally. I just say loss, sunk cost, and I try not to get anxious and frustrated by that. So that's how I handle my returns. Selima says, how many items do you ship to Amazon weekly, and how much do you sell monthly? I try to ship between 150 and 200 items a week into Amazon. Now, some weeks I'm more able to do that. than others, and sometimes I'm more able to do that. So it's opportunity driven. So I'm constantly beating the bushes here locally. I'm constantly beating the bushes for online arbitrage, and that generates pretty consistent opportunities to send stuff in. And then I hit these big ones and they up my average, so there's weeks when I only have 40 or 50 products. And then there's a week like this week when my garage is overflowing because I have like 500 to 700 products that I need to process, and I just haven't had the time to get to them. I'm trying to crank through them all. So, and then how many items per month? I could maybe prepare an answer for you for next week with more precision, but probably between 13 and 1,500 a month as I look on average over the course of the year. Kyle, good to see you back. Ryan is saying 18K equals 4K profit in 10 days. 9K spent to profit 4K in 10 days. Yeah, I think that's accurate. I would say that's pretty accurate. And this is probably exceptional for the first half. I'm still enjoying post-Christmas sales. I think January is the best month by far of the first half of the year. So I expect February and March to not be the same as January. Oriel, do you have employees? I've mentioned on this program through the fall, I hired my first employee to try to expand my business. And to be honest, it just didn't work out. I don't have hard feelings about it, but that employee just didn't work well for me. And when the new year came around, I just ended that business relationship. And so currently I do not, and that's the only time I've had any kind of employees. So I think for me to take the business to the next level, that's how I would have to expand. I would have to take advantage of VAs, virtual assistants, or I would have to hire somebody. And that is really because I'm really at my max, because I've forced myself to keep the business as small as possible because I don't want it to become my full-time job. That's just my conviction. So I work as a pastor at a church here locally, and I want that to be my first priority from a vocational standpoint. And then I've got 4 children and a wife that I love dearly, and I want to have time with them. I want them to be a priority. And so from the very beginning, my wife and I talked about, if I'm going to do this Amazon thing, if I'm going to do any kind of business, the business is going to serve us, and we're not going to become a slave to the business. And if I ever start to become a slave to the business, we're going to make decisions to prevent that from happening. And it might mean killing the business, because I'm not going to let my life. The whole goal for getting into this is to gain freedom, in my opinion. And so if the business is robbing me of that, then I don't really care how much money I'm making. I want to have freedom. So my point in all that is I've kept the business small so that it doesn't eat away all my time and energy. And so I've never had an employee because I don't really want to push it. Now, if I could hire an employee that could manage it and help me scale it without taking more time and more energy, a work smarter, not harder mentality, then I'd be excited about that. I just haven't been able to figure that out. But for many of you, taking your business to the next level will mean thinking through getting virtual assistants or getting employees so that you're not just trying to work twice as hard, spend twice as much time. Ryan P., that's the way to get restrictions. Oh, I skipped. Ryan Worthen, I have sold 2 items and sent my first shipment FBA. Good, way to go. So I'm just beginning my journey, but dang, I'm having a lot of problems with restrictions. Any tips? Yeah, the biggest tip is to have a long-term mindset that you're building a business and not just in this for only a few weeks or only a few months even. And so that's just a mental frame of mind that I would encourage you to get in, Ryan, because we're all encountering restrictions. In fact, when I went to that going out of business sale a couple weeks ago, I ran into tons of restrictions. There were so many shoes. I would pick up a shoe that I could sell for like $100 for a pair of shoes, and they were there for like $20, $30. And I'm restricted, and because I'm restricting that brand, it means the whole table I'm looking at is just not even in play. And so I know how frustrating that is when you're encountering good deals and feeling a bit hamstrung because of that. And admittingly, when you're a new seller, you're probably experiencing more of that than other sellers. But it's helpful to know everybody has restrictions. We're all facing that. We're all having to manage it. So the first thing is just move on. Don't let it frustrate you or tempt you to give up, and find products. Because I'm telling you, there's products out there that you're not restricted in that you can make money in. And the more you sell And the more you establish yourself with Amazon, the more they're going to give you room and you're going to have restrictions lifted. So that's my first thing. The second is every time you encounter a restriction, click the little yellow button that allows you to apply to have that restriction lifted, because you can get ungated automatically. There are times when you click that button, or on your Amazon seller app in the lower right-hand corner, you can apply to have that restriction lifted. And there are times when it will happen automatically. And then you just get excited about that and you move on. But if you're building a long-term business, a year from now, you're going to be glad that you stayed the course, and you will be unrestricted in things that you are currently restricted in. So Ryan P's answer is right. Keep selling, keep building your sales history, keep applying. Exactly right. Quentin, welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. Kyle, would you just ship 3 items to FBA or wait until you have a bunch of products? Well, in general, I would probably want to wait. The only thing you need to recognize, Kyle, is that the fewer items that you ship to an Amazon fulfillment center for FBA, the higher your per item price is going to be. So obviously weight and size play into this. So if you send in 3 real tiny items, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if you're selling 3 ceiling fans or something. But in general, that's why I like to send in a lot of items at a time. If I'm shipping 150 items in one bulk shipment, or 200 items, typically my price per item cost is between 20 and 25 cents. And that is almost negligible. I mean, if I'm selling items that are on average $40 an item, then, and my margins are close to 100% ROI, then what's 20 to 25 cents? But in the beginning, you know, sometimes you just want to get items in to the fulfillment centers and live, and you're not in a place where you've got the momentum built up that you're getting hundreds of items in a month. And so you kind of need to weigh, you know, you might cut into your margins by paying higher shipping fees in the beginning, but it's worth sending in a few items just to get the momentum going. But my encouragement to you, Kyle, would be to try to expand your opportunities as much as you can so that you're sending in more items at a time, because it'll really cut down on your shipping fees and save you some money. So get out there and pound the pavement, and don't feel like you have to send in items every time they're in your home. You want to send them in as quick as possible so that the price, you know, you're not at risk of the price going down or something happening. But if you're doing good product research, then waiting a couple weeks isn't going to affect your sales price. If you're buying items with an inflated price or something, then that's one thing. But if you've got good solid items, then you should be able to sell them 2 to 4 weeks from now just as well as you could sell them at this moment. So if you wait a little bit to gather some items, maybe you send in a shipment every 2 weeks instead. But it's kind of a judgment call, because I know in the beginning, sometimes you just want to get items in and get them live so that you can be seeing sales. And sometimes in the beginning, it's nice to just make sales, even if your profits are limited by shipping costs. Ryan, I tap get approval and it asks for invoices. Does anyone do that? I don't do that. The invoices they're looking for are only the products of the invoices are the result of a specific relationship you have with an authorized supplier or a manufacturer of some kind. So if you have that, great, you can get the restriction lifted. Every time I encounter that, I know that the arbitrage I do and the retail receipts that I have are not sufficient. So I just take that invoice requesting page as a no, and I move on. Salima, do you focus on specific items to sell certain times of the year, season, and months? I don't really. The only time I do is I will buy bulk Christmas items, and I do that like this time of year, and then I hold them for 9 months and send them in September. That's often something that I've done. So I focus just because Christmas is so big in our country. In fact, let me show you something. Part of what I do with my video room is I have some storage, and here's just a bunch of Christmas lights. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes of these sitting over here because they were a really good deal. And so that's the one exception, Salima, is I like to get into Christmas things. So many people buy Christmas lights and they pay, in my opinion, exorbitant amounts of money to buy these Christmas lights. And then when they go on sale, they go in deep discount. So I buy those. I have room right here, and I just stash those in my cupboards here. And in the fall, I pull them out, send them in. and make good money. And I don't mind sitting on that cost of goods investment for 9 months. It's just what I've decided to do. But otherwise, I don't. I buy flip-flops in the winter. I buy snow boots in the summer, and I'm amazed at when people buy various items. Again, if the product research I'm doing, if the statistics and the data are telling me it's a quality product, then I'm going to buy it, and I'm not really worried about whatever season we're in. What items do you recommend selling when starting out? I get asked this question a lot, and there's no answer. You find an item that is a high quality product, which means it has a low BSR and a high profit margin, and you're not restricted to sell it, and you can buy it at a discounted rate. So those are the only variables that are important. I don't care if it's a tool or a t-shirt, or a vase, or, if the vase is in a box. I don't want to just ship off a vase. That would probably be a hard one. But, I don't care what the item is. If it's morally appropriate and I can make money on it, then I'm happy to sell it. And so I don't think you need to traffic in any specific area. Let it be opportunity driven. Go out there and find opportunities. And if you find a shoe store that's going out of business, then do shoes. If you find a bunch of tools that are discounted, then do tools. It doesn't really matter what the items are. You just want to find things that you're not restricted in and that are quality products that you're going to sell and make money. Zahira, how much do I need to start a business in Amazon? If you're doing arbitrage, you really don't need much money at all. I started with $100. I bought a few items, they sold, and I got a payback, and I turned that payout right back into the business, and I bought more products, and I just gained momentum like that. Now, when I got confidence, I was willing to invest $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in inventory because I knew it was working, and I knew I would see that money come back. And so in the very beginning, I probably put in $1,000 or $2,000 to really give it a push. And you could do more if you had the opportunities available to you. But the cool thing with arbitrage is you can just start out small, gain some confidence, get some money back, and move at whatever pace is comfortable for you, Zahira. So, what I would recommend is investing in the membership. And so click below and look at the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. And I am confident that investment will bear fruit in the next 6 to 12 months so that you're making more money and building more margin into your budget. So to me, that's a huge investment that I would have made. If Just One Dime was around when I was starting to sell, I would have jumped at the opportunity to do a membership like that. Let's see. Think abundance, not scarcity. There's plenty to go around. Not that life is a vending machine. I'm reading Aaron's comments. Those are good. Ryan, don't forget to take pictures of the items you're sending in and also keep shipping receipts. I never take pictures of my items. I definitely keep all the receipts for my items because I want to be able to prove if I get an IP complaint that the item is legitimate, and you just need to do it for a tax audit or that kind of thing. What other questions we got here? Cantaloupe, welcome. I see you. He asked the same question. How much do you need to start? You need minimal money. You don't really need a lot. When I apply, Nina says, when I apply on the gated product, it said I can sell this product used or collectible, not new. That's right. So you're restricted in selling that item new. And so what you want to, that's how the restriction works. You don't really want to, I almost never sell used or collectible items unless it's, just happens to be an item I know about that I can make really good money on. So you're trying to sell it new. That's the whole point. And so you want to get the restriction lifted so that you could sell in the new condition. Snez Girk is asking Aaron, do you find it easy with the course if you get stuck or have questions to reach out to someone to get answers? See what Aaron said. Yes, especially in the Facebook group, people are quick to respond. Yeah, one of the coolest things about the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership is the community. So you've got coaches that are very attentive, and we train you to ask your questions in a certain way that flags the coaches. So, we use hashtags and stuff so that you can ask a question that coaches are committed to replying to within 24 hours. And I find that the other members jump in and help a ton. So we have international members that ask questions and other international members will help them give answers to those questions based on their experience. One of the best parts of the membership is the community. And that's what I didn't have when I started to sell. I was doing this on my own. My dad and I would talk because he sells on Amazon as well, but neither one of us enjoyed a community that could help us. And now that I have that and I've experienced it, it's easy for me to recommend. The price of the membership would be worth it alone just for the community that you can experience and gain from with Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. So Aaron, I'm glad you feel that way. It's true, and we work hard to do that. And so click the link below and check it out. Which is best to start, Zenum asks, FBA or FBM? I recommend starting FBA immediately because the advantages to doing FBA are legion. Like I mentioned earlier, you can win the buy box more competitively at a higher price. So there's a potential to even make more revenue doing FBA, not to mention that Amazon does all the work, and which is going to help you in the long run. It might not feel like it in the beginning if you're only selling a few products, but I'm telling you, the more and more that you send in, the more glad you'll be that Amazon's doing that work. You can put that work into learning and growing your end of the business. And that's what's awesome about FBA. The other thing that I think is really important to realize, and as an Amazon seller, I'm often talking to people about Amazon, and I'm hearing from friends and family their views of Amazon. And I've talked to a lot of people, not just one or two, but a strong number of people that have told me that if they go into Amazon and they're looking for a product, they will not buy unless they see that the order is being fulfilled by Amazon. So they don't really discriminate between whether Amazon's selling or a third-party seller is selling, but they do discriminate. They do care if it's being offered and shipped by a merchant or not, because they don't feel like it's backed by Amazon in the same way. They want Amazon to fulfill the order. They want to get their prime shipping. They want to get it quick, and they just want to know that Amazon's fulfilling it and that it's not going to come 3 weeks later from an international location. And so I think one of the biggest advantages to doing FBA is you have pretty much 100% customer confidence. So not only are you winning the buy box more often, but customers aren't saying no to you because you're a third-party seller. They see that it's fulfilled by Amazon. They see that it's prime, and they order from you. And I think you're going to make way more sales, way quicker at a higher price, and they're doing the work. So those are all the advantages. And if the fees are a little bit higher, which they are, then who cares for all those advantages? And another thing to realize is when you sell FBM, you have to pay the shipping cost. So maybe that's okay if you sell somebody in your state, but if I'm in Vermont and I sell to somebody in Phoenix, Arizona, and the item weighs 2 pounds, now I've got to pay a massive amount of money to ship that, way more than I would pay in FBA fees. And so I just think there's tons of reasons to do FBA. I would recommend it to anyone, whether you're new or an experienced seller. I have seen products that are brand restricted, but other brands are not restricted. Should I be concerned about this, or should I sell the generic brands maybe as private label? I don't know what you mean by generic brands, because if it's branded, it's branded. And as long as your item matches the brand, then sell what you're not restricted in. So again, if the data is telling you it's an effective listing that's making sales and your item matches the listing precisely, go for it. Unless I'm not understanding the question, because I don't know what a generic brand is. It might be a less popular brand, or for some reason it's not restricted. But if you can sell, and the important thing is that the brand on your product matches the brand that's out there. What Amazon is fighting against is counterfeiters who are selling without any integrity, and the brands don't match, and you can't do that. If that's kind of what you're saying, then you can't do that. But if it's a match and it's a quality product, then go for it. Any negatives to FBA? Is that what Snez is asking? Any negatives to FBA? I mean, you pay more fees for sure. But again, I don't like that you have to pay for your own shipping with FBM. So I don't even know that that's a negative. I'm just convinced you're going to make more money doing FBA. One of the negatives, I guess, is that with items that, and I'm kind of searching because I'm really convinced FBA is far better. But if you don't everybody makes mistakes and everybody buys products. Out of the thousands of products I'm buying, there surely are some that I've made mistakes on, or for whatever reason don't sell, and I have to have them removed and brought back to me. And so now you've had to go through the work and the expense of shipping products to Amazon, having them sit in storage and then come back to you. And if you did FBM, you wouldn't have to have done all that. And I find, it's unfortunate, but I find in a lot of those cases, the product gets damaged. I've been frustrated to no end, and I try to fight frustration. So I've tried to not stay mad at Amazon, but I get frustrated because what Amazon will do is they'll take a product, especially a bigger product, and they'll just slap a shipping label on the box and ship it without any sort of container around it. So, even if UPS kind of does a good job of getting it to me, it's going to be all bunged up, torn. Plus, it's got this big ugly label on it, and then they put another UPC code on it, and they're just putting stickers all over the thing, and it makes it look ugly, and I can't resell it then. So that's one of the downsides, I guess, to FBA if I'm really trying to look for one. One of the negatives is that they can really bang up your product, and then you can't resell it as new. All this FBA stuff, by the way, we go into great detail about FBA and FBM when it's advantageous to do some of this and some of that, because you can offer some of your products FBA and some FBM and do a mix of that. We go into all that in the membership. There's great detail on topics like this as to when to do FBA, when to do FBM, and why one is better than the other. All this is in the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. Where am I here? I'm a manufacturer and want to sell my own products, but there are huge reviews out there, and I have some new styles and variations. May I go with my own manufacturing products? Yes, you can do that, and then you're entering into the world of private label. So if you look in the description below, the other members, we offer Amazon Arbitrage Mastery, and then we have another membership called Amazon FBA Mastery, which is focused on creating your own brand. If you're a manufacturer or supplier, you want to create your own brand, sell your own products by developing your own listings, that would be the membership to check out. So look at Amazon FBA Mastery and see if that suits you, Zenum. This hour, we're focused on arbitrage, so I'm going to keep moving. Snez Gurk says he's been researching courses, following Seth, wants to get some inside info. Email me. Email me at eric@justonedime.com, and I'm happy to answer specific questions and to help you think through it. It feels like a big deal to jump into a membership. I've experienced it for a number of years, and I'm convinced, at the heart level that Just One Dime is excellent and worth it. So it's easy for me to say, oh, the money is worth the investment, the membership's worth the investment, do it. But I know that you're really wanting to make wise decisions. And so email me with any questions you have. I'll try to help you out as much as I can specifically, and click the link and look it over and ask people like Aaron Kolb, who's on here, what they think of the membership. Eric, how much do you let BSR influence your purchase decision? 100%. BSR is the biggest data point that's going to influence your decision. If you see a product that's on clearance to buy just because you think it'll have margin, does BSR really matter? Absolutely, BSR matters. Don't buy a product that doesn't have BSR. Don't buy a product that has an extremely high BSR. BSR is your biggest indicator that this item has or doesn't have precedent to sell. It's where you lodge all your confidence in your purchasing decisions. So, Aaron, I think it's huge. It's the number one piece of data that Amazon gives you. And you're a member of the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. We talk about BSR all the time, and we look at it from this way and that way, and we turn it upside down, and everything that you want to be thinking about is driven by the bestseller rank. Salima, on the bulk buy items that do not sell on Amazon, do you sell on eBay? Sure. Well, for the most part, anything I can't sell on Amazon, I'm going to try to move on eBay. And again, I'm building it in as a loss, and then I'm just getting rid of it. I'm trying to think if there's another part of your question to that, but my primary, 99% of my stuff is being sold through Amazon. I want it to be 100%. So the only stuff I'm selling on eBay is the stuff that kind of falls off the Amazon wagon. And when I pick it up off the ground, the only way that I can get rid of it is to push it through eBay or Craigslist. Russ, can you help me out? A lot of us. Hey, can you help me out? A lot of us, and I appreciate it. Good luck and God bless. If you're commending me for helping you, then you're welcome. I'm glad for that. I think maybe that's what you're saying. I hope you success as well, Russ. Salima, how do you plan and prepare for lower sales from February onwards? I don't plan and prepare for lower sales necessarily. I just know, I don't do anything differently. I just know that's the reality. So maybe it's mindset. Again, I'm huge on mindset. You've got to be watching over and guarding your mind and your heart through the whole process, because you're given daily opportunities to get mad, to get frustrated, to give up, to waste your time, to think wrongly about something, and then to make a ton of mistakes, or to veer off course, or to prioritize the wrong things. So I'm a huge advocate for mind and heart and managing expectations. And so if I know sales are going to go down in February and March, then, I'm not, when I'm in February and I'm making less sales, I'm not all anxious, and I'm not chatting online saying, hey, are your sales going down? My sales are going down, or I'm not getting nervous. Maybe I can't provide for my family, or, I just know, there's contours to the business, and the more experience I get, the more I realize, okay, January is good. There's momentum that flows over from Christmas, and people have gift cards, and people got cash for Christmas or whatever it is. January is always good. Or they return the item that you sold them, and they come and buy one of my items. January is good, and then it's by far the best month in the first half. So February, March, April, May are just not going to be as good months. But again, I don't stress, like if I'm in April and I'm not selling items as quickly, and therefore my inventory is building, I'm happy with that, and I'll just ride it for a little bit, because I know the second half is coming, and starting in July, August, September, certainly fourth quarter, those items are going to move. And so I don't mind having items in FBA storage for 3 or 4 months. The storage fees, in my opinion, are well worth it, because the items are going to sell. And so that's part of why I'm comfortable buying higher quantities. I don't mind buying 20 of a product if the margin's really good. And if I'm going for 100% ROI, then I've built in room to pay for a storage fee, or whatever the situation might be. Baptiste has a really good question that I don't know the answer to. There is a thing called Amazon Seller Fulfilled Prime. I've seen FBM sellers who are selling as a merchant get that Prime logo. I think it's because I kind of know the answer. I think it's because they've guaranteed Amazon that they'll ship in a certain, like when you make the sale, it forces you to only choose certain shipping options so that you'll get the item to the customer quickly. But the problem with that is you pay huge amounts of money in your shipping. At least that's been my experience. So now not only do you have to ship your own product, but Amazon forces you to ship it 2-day priority. And again, that's fine if you happen to sell it to somebody in your state. But like I live in northern Vermont, I make a ton of sales to people in California and New Mexico and places like that. And if I've got a 2-day priority, something out there is going to cost me a ton of money. So I think Baptiste, the people have made those merchant sellers have made a commitment to do a certain level of shipping in order to earn that Prime logo. I don't really want to go there. How much is the membership becoming a seller on Amazon? Idris, you can set up your Amazon Seller Central account for no fee if you choose the individual option. If you're going to build a business and sell at least 40 items a month, my recommendation is to just start with a professional membership. And that's a subscription that costs $39.99 a month, and Amazon takes that out of your paycheck every month. But if you don't have the professional account, they charge you an additional $1 per item as just a general fee. So any of us who are selling at least 40 items a month are saving money by using the professional account. But if you're just starting and you want to sign up for the individual account, it costs $0. Tibor, welcome. What programs are you using? I don't know what you're speaking to specifically. The tools I use Keepa, and I use RevSeller. RevSeller is particularly important when I do online arbitrage. Keepa is important for getting price history, and I use my Amazon Seller app. And that is all I use for programs. I've used Tactical Arbitrage a couple times. I never use it for more than a month at a time. It's just what I do. I use QuickBooks for my business. Those are all the programs I can think of. Couple minutes left. Storage fees, Johan's alert. Storage fees is the worst I found out doing FBA. Yeah, you've got to pay storage fees. Again, I have found for my business that it's worth it. If I'm a Prime member wanting to become a seller on Amazon, do I have alternative benefit for being a member? No, you don't. And in fact, you want to go create your seller account separate from your Amazon Prime account. And Aaron's right, there's no connection. Aaron, you're answering my questions. You're doing good. I should have you on the program sometime. Let's see. How much is the cost for Amazon FBA? It's varied. There are a number of different fees that all come together. I find it's about a third of your sales price. Matthew Taylor, welcome, my friend. When you say you started Arbitrage with $100, did you start with a pro seller account? Yeah, I did. When I started, and I don't think they do this anymore. When I started, if you purchased the pro seller account, or they had a trial where they give you a free month. So for the first month I sold on Amazon, I didn't have to pay that subscription fee. And then the second month they charged me the subscription fee. But by the time I got to the second month, I was selling way more than 40 items. So I didn't really blink at that. But yeah, when I joined, that's the offer they had. So I got a little free month in there. Ryan, do I have any tips on finding items? No, I mean, what I do, Ryan, is not that fancy. I go to clearance sections. I just use common sense. I hit the parts of the stores where I think I'm going to find discounted products. And I try to be efficient with my time by doing that. You're on a treasure hunt. And you're trying to find opportunities. And I'm here to try to convince you they're out there because I find them all over the place. And so it's having the mindset that you're on a treasure hunt and you're going to search. There's going to be parts of your treasure hunting experience where you're just not finding anything. But then when you hit it and you find items, it makes it all worth it. So I just don't have better tips for you, Ryan. Get out there and get busy looking at items, and don't get frustrated if there's seasons where you don't find anything, because if you just continue to look, you will find them. Matthew Taylor, I can't see how to spend less than $60 and still not crash the business if paying for pro seller. Well, then spend $200. I mean, I think you can come up with enough money to give it a good run and make it worth it. And once you get the momentum built, now you're getting payouts. If you're purchasing quality products, you're getting enough payouts to put it back in the business, and it works. So, I mean, most businesses take massive amounts of capital to get started. So even if you're paying $200 or $300 to get your Amazon business started, it's chump change compared to what most people out there are doing. Salima, have you hired help for your prep center? Well, that's part of the arrangement I had with this employee that didn't go too well. So right now, not really. I don't. All right, I got to wrap up here. Let's see. I want to sell 3 different styles of my products. I'm unpacking and was a barcode process. Those are all private label questions that are, if you follow Seth, they'll have lots of opportunities to ask private label questions. Check out the Amazon FBA Mastery membership. How do you know the item you're selling is the one? Cash, I don't know what you're saying. You want to make sure it's matching the listing. That's the important thing. No, you can't deliver. You can't deliver your product to the fulfillment center and save on shipping. I wish you could. I've talked to a lot of people that are close to a fulfillment center. Amazon won't have it. They force you to ship to the fulfillment center. Now, the good news is you might have limited shipping costs because maybe they'll have you send the majority of your items right there locally. They do advocate for you. So when I ship 100 items to Amazon fulfillment centers, the vast majority of those items go to one closer, and then a few of them go to ones further, and that helps me save money. Well, it is 1:04 Central Standard Time, and I'm past my hour, and I need to call it quits here. I would love to be able to convince you that arbitrage on Amazon works. I tried to show you my numbers. It's possible to do $18,000 in sales in 10 days because I just did it. I don't know if the next 10 days will look exactly like that, but what I do know is that I've been able to create margin in my budget, and it's awesome. I love it. And so even if even if your first adventure pushed you to add $100 of margin to your budget, what would that be like? I mean, what could you do with that? It would be cool. It would be way cool. And so get started. Check out the memberships. Join Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. We will do everything in our power to help you be successful and take whatever step is next for you to move your business forward. For some of you, it's just getting off of YouTube and going and getting started for the first time. So create your Amazon seller account and get busy. But I'm telling you, you can do it. There are bumbles out there waiting to be found and sold so that you can have more room to do the things that you want to do and to do those things with the people that you love. And I'm convinced it's true. And I want it to be true for you. I really do. Why not? So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to have a blast in the Bahamas. And hopefully when I see you next week, next Saturday, I'm going to be more tan and ready to hit the business again and having connected well with my wife so that we're really rocking it and on the same page for 2020. So I wish you guys the best. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week.